Hi everybody! Now virtual events have become all the rage, but there are some things that you need to prepare yourself for if you're invited to MC an online event. So here we go. Now first let me start off by saying that there's different types of virtual events. There are the type where you are standing on a stage in front of a room that has nobody in it and just a camera, and then you speak and then that's recorded and edited and then put out for the event. So that's one type. The other type is when you are in a similar environment with nobody there, speaking to a camera, however it might be live streamed. So there's no opportunities for edits or for retakes, and you just have to be able to say your stuff as if you're saying them live on stage. So let's talk about that type of an event where you're being live streamed and there's no opportunity for edits. Here's tip number one. When you are at home, practice recording yourself on your own camera using the back camera of your smartphone or using your normal DSLR. Because the thing about a virtual event is that there's no people there for you to be looking at and to give eye contact to. So most of the time you'll either be staring off into the darkness or you'll be asked to look at a certain camera. So you have to really get used to being able to just face a camera and speak to that specifically. Now this is very similar to our same process that we use when we're filming YouTube videos, because of course there's nobody around, we're just looking at our camera. But if you're not used to that type of an environment, then definitely it's something that you can practice at home first. Tip number two is to know your audience. Now you might wonder why this is different with a virtual event as opposed to an actual live event. But in fact there are some differences. Because if you're invited to be an MC for an event where you don't know the audience very well and you're not even very familiar with that industry, the reality is that within a couple minutes of getting into your MC gig, you'll be able to read the body language and the expressions of the audience there to know whether your message is hitting home with them. You have the luxury of that with an actual audience. The issue with a virtual event is that you cannot see the audience. They're elsewhere at their home or some other place watching you through their screen. So there's no way to really know whether anything that you're saying as an MC is resonating with them. This is why it is so important long before this event to make sure you understand the audience that is going to be watching, the type of an organization that's putting on the event. Make sure you speak to as many people as you can to get a good sense of what that crowd will be like so that you can master being an MC for a virtual event. Now tip number three is to coordinate with the tech team how you're going to enter in and exit off. Now again, you might be thinking, well, this is similar to a live event where you need to know is it stage left or stage right. But in fact, with a virtual event, sometimes your video team will be fading you in and fading you out. They may not want to see the full walk into your podium and then the walk out, because that's not as relevant in a virtual environment. And in fact, the audience that's watching from afar doesn't want to see any of that. So make sure that you coordinate first with your tech team to find out how many seconds you have before they're going to fade you in, or whether you should already be positioned at your microphone, or whether you're expected to leave or stay positioned where you are when your actual speaking piece is over. Tip number four is to be personal and personable. Of course, in a live audience setting, the audience is sitting just a couple meters away from you, so they can really feel your energy and be able to connect with you in different ways. But in this remote environment, people are really craving a personal touch. They want to see your sense of humanity and who you are as a person. So of course, as an MC there, your role in general is to facilitate a smooth program and to make a connection between all the different components of the program. So when you are doing this virtually, I highly encourage you to try to incorporate as many personal touches, personal stories, anecdotes that you can, so that you can really connect to the audience in a different way, even though they're not sitting in the same room as you. Tip number five is to have sufficient filler material ready in case something happens with the tech. Now, in a live environment, sometimes the event organizers can come to you and ask you to just say a few words to fill some time in case there's a gap in the program. In those type of situations, you can always tell jokes and interact with the audience. However, in a virtual platform where you cannot see any of the audience members and they're just watching you from afar, it is really hard to do that same type of a thing. So you need to have some material handy, because in case there's any delay with the tech, which there often is for virtual events, you need to be able to keep the pace of the environment going. So have some type of material, especially some type of personal behind the scenes story about the event, or something that's bigger picture about the event, something more for the audience to just kind of think about. It's another good time to mention the sponsors. You can talk about the event organizers or what else is coming up for that organization in the year. There's all sorts of little things that you can say at that time just to keep your audience engaged in case there's any type of delay with tech. So there you have it, my top 5 tips for being a great MC for a virtual event. So although it feels scary before you do it the first time, with a little bit of advanced preparation and a bit of a mindset shift to know the difference between a live event and a virtual event, you'll get the hang of it in no time. So if you're interested in more details about how you can become a great speaker or put out great videos, make sure to look me up on Facebook or Instagram, or check me out at timeboxdigitalmedia.com/smart speaker. Until next time, take care.